What's going on, guys, and welcome along to another video. A little bit different today. Today is a sponsored video by Engwe. They have sent me this product to test, so that's what we're going to do. Quick unbox, quick install, and then my first initial thoughts on the product. Let's get into it. Once you've ordered the product, you do get a tracking information, so you do know when it's going to get delivered, and it was actually delivered on time. Nice to see. You're going to have to put off my dulcet tones. It's middle December, and I've got a cold. Packaging galore. To start with, there does look like there's lots of protection, cable ties everywhere, and obviously the foam protecting it, making sure it doesn't move around in transit. Not only do I have a cold, I've got a bad back as well, so I'm not going to lift this out. The bike is hitting around 34 kilos, so I'm just going to rip open the box. And there she is. Tell you what, those are some beefy tyres and a really, really nice blue colour to it. Oh, look at that. So in this first box, we've got a couple of pedals, tools, always handy, cable ties, instruction and maintenance manual, and then a manual for the Speedo as well. And lastly, we've got a big 3-amp charger for this bike. First part then is going to be to install the handlebar. It's going to be found in the big-ish box. Two parts then, you've got the lower stem and then the upper stem. For the lower stem to go onto the bike then, you've got this large locking lever here on the side. Pull the safety catch up and then it flops down. And then you're going to insert this onto the bike and then just tighten it up. Easy. Steering column's on, handlebars are on. Next is the front wheel and front fender. We've now got the front mudguard and the front wheel on. It's aligned. What I've done was I left it loose and I just pushed down on the suspension to kind of help things settle and align themselves. From there, just went up and tightened both sides. I would recommend doing this as a two-person, so one can hold the bike, one can hold the wheel, and then you can work together. Doing it as a one-person is doable, obviously, but it's not easy. Okay, assembly step 4 is going to be the seat and pedals. So I'm going to go around, remove the rest of the packaging and get the seat and the pedals ready to install. I tell you what, that seat looks like it was designed for my backside. Plenty of cushion in there. Rear seat, simple presser arm, push and pull to tighten up. So the charger has 2 ways of charging it. You can either take the battery out itself, take the charger inside and then charge it up, normal 3-pin. Or if you've got somewhere to store the bike with power, you can take the bike, take the charger and then plug the charger straight into the bike on the left-hand side and then it will charge the battery just the same. For now, I'm going to take the battery out and charge it inside. And I believe, lock and lever on the right-hand side of the bike, pull, and then put it back to the rear tyre, and then the bike kind of folds in half, which is a bit fiddly. And this is where the battery is stored in the centre stem of the frame. The key has to be in it. The key goes underneath the frame. There's a little key port. Put the key in. You're going to twist the key, and that's going to release the locking lever for the battery. Once you've twisted it and the lock and lever is released, you then need to remove the key, then the battery can come out. Also making sure the charging port cover, which is on the left-hand side of the bike, that needs to be out as well. Took me a while, but I got there. So keys in, twist it now all the way, remove the key, little handle on the battery. Now the battery slides all the way out. Putting it back in is exactly the same. Slide it all the way in, put the key in, Turn the key, locking lever comes out, locks the battery into the bike. From here, put the bike back together. Locking lever, that centre part down. Me personally, I'm going to put the little cap in, and that's it. Bike can now be locked up. Take the battery inside, charge it up. And that is the first part of this video. We've done the unbox, done the install. I'm going to get this battery on charge. Light is starting to fade, so tonight that's going to be all. But when we come back in about 30 seconds, we're going to be outside, we're going to be testing it, and it's going to be my first ride and thoughts on it. Thoughts so far: the packaging, perfect. Plenty of styrofoam and protection all around it. So no qualms there, there's no damages, there's no scratches from transit. For me, the only real part that does let it down is the instructions. It's kind of like you know what you're doing, you get a rough idea with the instructions, and you're gonna kind of make it up 100% yourself. But yeah, so battery's gonna go on charge. I'll probably pump the tyres up tonight and do one round with the spanner and make sure everything's tight, good to go, ready for tomorrow. Let's catch back up tomorrow. And here we go then. So this is the Engwe Pro. We're gonna have 3 different colours. We have got it in blue. I think actually looks really nice. You also can get it in black or grey. I think the grey and the blue look very, very similar. This one is currently on offer and it's going to set you back £1,269. Let's have a quick look around it and see what we think before we jump on it. 750 watt brushless engine. As we saw on the unbox and install, battery is housed in this section here of the frame. The engine will give you 55 Newton meters of torque, which is absolutely crazy for an electric bike. At the front and rear, we do have 160mm Shimano discs, hydraulic as well, so hopefully enough stopping power. We have a minimum seat height of 86 centimeters, but that can go up to 120 centimeters. Looking at the handlebars then, starting on the left-hand side, we've got our front and rear brakes levers. This is the thumb accelerator, little horn. This is going to be your control panel for the LCD, and on the right hand side we've got our thumb and finger gear changes, so up to 8 gears. A little bit strange, but the key goes in there and the key has to be in and turned on for you to be able to then turn this little bike on. Once it's in, push and hold that left hand power button there, and this is what the LCD screens looks like. Nice and bright, colourful, as we can see. 100% battery. I have changed it into miles per hour. The sport here says 0. When it's on 0, nothing happens on the throttle. To change that from 1 to 5, you're going to use the plus and minus buttons at the top. Push it and you can just cycle through. You can go into the settings and change what speed or what power level you get per level. So level 1 is like 22% battery power and level 5 is 99% power. Don't worry about that max speed. I lifted the bike up and just put full throttle. So 35 miles an hour ain't too bad, is it? Pushing the button in the middle just changes some of the information. And then the button on the right is your light. Light is situated at the front. Obviously we've got a reflector here as well. And then looking at the rear light, that's also got reflectors in as well. So if you aren't using the battery power, it will still reflect if there's cars behind you. Side stand, little rack. You can get a Engwe kind of little saddle bag at the rear. You can strap onto there. Max 25 kilos. Moving on to suspension and tyres. This thing has got full suspension. As you can see here, the arm comes into here and then onto that suspension joint there. HLT 100. Ain't got a clue what that is. And at the front, we've also got full suspension. Right hand side, you can lock it if you want, or leave it unlocked, and then you've got the preload adjuster on the other side. And then look at this tyre profile. Absolutely some Fatboys, which would be perfect for some light off-roading. A couple more bits then on the battery. So this is going to be fully charged in 5.5 hours, and they claim 60 kilometers on full electric mode and 120 kilometers on passive mode, so where you're pedaling as well. So that equates 60 is about 37 miles, and then 120 kilometers is about 75 miles. Once again though, temperature this time of year is December, so the temperature is going to affect the battery performance. Obviously my weight is probably going to affect it. The location, are you going a lot of uphills, is it flat, is it downhill? There's kind of a lot of factors for me that can affect a battery's performance. So we will do a full battery test at some point. Won't be on this video. I will do another video later on, say a month-long review, and see how many miles I can get on a full charge before it dies. I'm 6'1", 115 kilos, so we'll see how the suspension on this bike handles, because I'm not small, I'm not skinny. I will push it to its limit. I do believe it has got a regenerative brake system on it. So what I mean by that is when you're going downhill and you're not accelerating, the engine starts to brake on the rear wheel and it then regens some of the power into the battery. So this is my first ever electric push bike. I've never been on one before, so interested to see what I feel and think of it. Well, let's stop talking, let's jump on it. And here we go then. So around me is quite hilly, so I've tried to find the flattest area possible to start with. At the minute I've got it in sport number 4, and as you can see I'm not pedalling. We've got 19 miles an hour, 20, 21, 21.7 at the minute. What we're going to do is going to up it to 5, see if we get any more without pedaling, remember. 23.4 is what we're looking like with topped out there. So I've now upped it to gear 8, so that may have been restricting it. 26, 28. I'm going to start going downhill here, so I am going to slow down. I did say earlier about pumping the tyres up. So these tyres take a max of 1.4 psi. At the minute I've put them at 1.2, and see if we need to adjust it later on. Okay, so without doing the thumb throttle, as soon as you start pedaling, it starts powering on for you as well. So look, no thumb, and we're on. So top gear, just pedal, and it assists you. What I am finding, it is a bit noisy at the back. So you've got your natural kind of whirring sound coming from the rear drum, and that's fine, but every now and then you get this kind of metal kind of hitting sound. It's hard to describe. Thumb acceleration on, gear 8. I mean, this thing shifts. I'm at 27, 28, it's about 28.4 I think I saw. And at those speeds with the pedaling, even at the highest gear, the bike's going too quick. So when you're pedaling, your legs going too quick. Almost needs more gears. Drop it down to 2, just so I can pedal. Handling on this kind of rough track, it's actually pretty good. Obviously I've got those massive tyres at the front. Coming off curbs, handles it pretty nicely. So if you lower the speed, as I've done now, to 2, there's way more pedaling required from me. Remember, the speed is still on. So I'm at 9.5 miles an hour at the minute. Going to 3, battery kicks in. Go to the highest gear. In mode 3 I'm at 13.6 miles. It's hitting around 14 miles an hour and I'm just casually pedaling. So yeah, when you've got it in this different modes, you don't need to use your thumb to accelerate at all. All you could do, you could worry about, is using the different modes to kind of increase and decrease the speed. I'd say 2, pushing into 3, probably more 3, is a comfortable cycling speed. Around a 13 to 15 miles an hour. Car's coming. Oh, tell me what you think. Is this something worth getting? Every time you turn the bike off and back on again, the sport mode will go back to 0. So nothing will happen on the throttle. Muddy paths up here. See how it handles. Still mode 3, no thumb, and it has been very wet up here. Tell you what, this is handling a lot easier than I thought it would. Getting absolutely battered by this bush. He's coming back. Oh, listen to the sound of that. This is easy. Suspension's actually pretty good, even with my weight on it. What's the point in having a bike with big old tyres like that if you ain't going to find some dirt tracks, eh? The gear changes on the right hand are very, very smooth. Barely feel them, barely feel the chain going up and down. 29.2, hard on the brakes, and stops pretty well. As well is the bar ends. I've got these like locks on to stop the palm rest spinning round. Nice like leather feeling to it. Overall, I'm quite impressed. I'm not sure I'd want to give downhill mountain biking a go on this, but for your everyday riding, this is all you need. At the minute, I've got 96% on the battery. Power output in mode 3, hitting around 540 to 640. Drive time 11 minutes. Max speed 29.2. Average speed. Total distance 4 miles. Trip distance 2.8. I'm not a skinny lad and the seat's doing okay for now. I can see that if I was on this for a long period of time, I probably would get a bit of saddle sore, but nothing stopping you from standing up for a bit. Don't want to pedal, that's where your thumb comes into it. Let me know. Yamaha have got their electric mountain bike in Branston's. Should I ask them to take it out and do a little comparison between this and the, I think it's like £4,500, and see how it compares? Maybe Zoe would like to join me. Or even better, Matt. I know he's a mountain biker. See what he thinks of them. And that is all I've got for you for today's video. If you've enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up. More importantly, subscribe to the channel. Helps us keep growing in 2024. We've got more content coming out weekly. So until the next one, ride safe.